Dear viewers, today's topic is No Second Try, a topic from MA English. Those who are doing MA from IGNU. And this poem is written by W.B. East. This is a 12-line poem portrays William Butler East's rhetoric directed to Maud Gonne regarding her rejection to East's repeated declaration of love on the one hand, and on the other the poet shows us the chaotic side to Gonne, an Irish revolutionary, and her method in defeating the British ruler. The, ep- uh, the poem is, why should I blame her that she filled my days with misery, or that she would of late have taught to ignorant men most violent ways, or hurl the little streets upon the great, had they but courage equal to desire. The above lines quoted in the questions are the opening lines in No Second Try, published in 1921. In the collection titled The Green Helmet and Other Poems, W.B. Yeats' this 12-line poem is the most celebrated poem, having a combination of personal and political concerns. The poem begins on a personal plane with a rhetoric question saying that East should not blame her for filling his life with misery. From here, it goes to refer to and comment on the political concerns of Mudgun, an Irish revolutionary loved by East. Here, actually, here the poet um, uh, want to tell the poem. The second trope begins with a rhetoric question on a personal plane, saying that East should not blame her. Here, her is Mudgun, who is one of the principal characters of the poem. The rhetoric that the poem opens with is answered in the question itself, although in the first 5 lines of the poem we can see that the poet is very unhappy and utterly disappointed by the fact that Mudgon hasn't responded to his love. The poet emphasizes on the fact that he should not blame Maud for making him suffer and go through misery. The poet also states that he should not blame her for teaching the Irish people the despicable methods to attain freedom. The poet is aggravated by the fact that instigates the innocent Irish to propagate violence against the British rulers, which to the poet is futile attempts. Here the poet shows two sides to Maud. Here he forgives and lets go of the fact that she stepped over his soul, but also shows how he is at a loss to comprehend her methods to win over the Irish rulers, instigating the Irish people into making questionable decisions. Then, in the last stanza, is the poet could have made her peaceful with mind, that nobleness made simple as a fire, with beauty like a tightened bow, a kind that is not natural is an age like this, being high and solitary and most stern. Why, what could she have done, being what she is. Was there another joy for her to burn? In the last stanza, the readers with a vivid set of imagines which are not present in the initial 5 lines of the great poem. To the poet, civilization does not serve the purpose of providing bonfires for heroic and eternal beauty. The sole reason Ireland hasn't failed is it wasn't burned like Troy. The rhetoric control and the complete pattern of images in the poem are illustrated at the very last line. What makes the poem one of the greatest of all time is how the poet gives a description of beauty can not only destroy the inner soul but also ruin a country in a critically mythological perspective. Here, if we tell in short, there are some questions asked by the poet. First is the speaker wonders why he should blame her for her unhappiness and for her reckless manipulation of the emotions of Irish commoners to use political violence. Then he asks whether it would even have been possible for her to be a peaceful person. He thinks her character and beauty have an old school quality, more like a figure from Greek tragedy than a contemporary woman. She belongs to another age. She could not have been anything other than what she is simple enough. Last, because there was no second Troy for her to destroy, she had to destroy other things like the speaker's happiness and the lives of Irish commoners. The first Troy, of course, was destroyed because of a quarrel over Helen. Another politically troublesome beauty from another age, ancient Greece. Here, the poem opens with a rhetoric questions, the answer to which is the implied in the question itself. The poet is unhappy that Modgun has not responded to his love, but he argues that he should not blame her for filling his days with misery. She should not he should not also blame her for teaching innocent Irish people the revolutionary methods to get freedom for the country of Ireland. The poet is scornful of the petty violence of those who would hurl the little streets upon the great. That is, instigate the innocent people of Ireland to perpetrate violence against the British. Then British rulers, which is futile. The poet blames the revolutionary lady for hurting his love cruelly, but waives that blame and is prepared to forget and forgive her. However, he fails to understand her political attitude and the revolutionary violence that the lady preached to her countrymen, means Irish people, for winning the freedom of her country against the British tyranny. This first section does not contain a great deal of imaginary and instead focuses on fully explaining the initial question. Then, however, the descriptions in the latter part of the poem are far more vivid and draw on metaphor in order to create powerful imaginary. Then the second stanza, the beautiful revolutionary lady Modgon is seen in terms of destruction. Her beauty is said to be like a Titan bow. There, poet wanted to tell that the beauty of Modgon was like a Titan bow. Her mind is made simple as a fire of nobleness. Simplicity is not quality that we associate with fire. Here it seems to suggest how uncompromising intensity and dedicated single-mindedness are capable of being both noble and, in terms of a practical world, naive. The Titan bow further suggests an inherent tension in heroic beauty that necessarily results in destructiveness. But heroic beauty cannot avoid its terrible consequence. It must not be blamed because it contains help itself. It is not until the last line that images lock securely in their pattern. The organizing trust is cleverly withheld. The marching suspenses of the single syllables words in the last but one line, with, why, what, and what, repeating the accumulated questions, is a brilliant piece of dramatic situation. Then the Helen image strikes into the poem. It raises the question which is the whole structure of the poem has answered. It puts everything in its predestined order. It is the demonstration, and an important one of technique that he brings to its perfection in the second coming. The purpose of civilization is not to provide bonfires for eternal or heroic beauty. Ireland has not failed because it has not been burnt like Troy. Here, the island was not burned like a Troy. That's why poet is telling like this. The complete pattern of images as well as the rhetoric control in the poem are clearly demonstrated only when we read the last line. The poet clearly demonstrates the destructive aspects of beauty not only in personal terms but also in national as well as mythological terms. So we can tell this is the short discussion of the poem, The No Second Troy. If you like this video, you can share. Please subscribe my channel. Thank you.